Hello, students. Welcome to this fourth session of your English course. I'm going to explain you some important things that you have to have into account for this second term, because we are almost 2 weeks in order to finish the second term. So in this session, I'm going to show you what you have to do. Okay, so let's start right now. I'm going to explain you the agenda for today. I'm going to show you the items that I'm going to explain you today. First, I'm going to talk about the activity number 2. This is the activity number 2 in the second term. Remember, the activity number 1 in the second term was the activity that you did like 2 weeks ago about people who were doing something on the street or in their houses, and this is the activity number 2 in order to finish the second term. Then I'm going to talk about some virtual exercises that you have to do in the second term, in the unit number 3 and the unit number 4. After that, I'm going to talk about the second test for the second term. And finally, if you have questions, I can't answer your questions. Maybe you can write a message through Aulas Virtuales, or you can send an email to my institutional email. So that's it for today. Okay, first I'm going to show you the platform, Aulas Virtuales, and in here you can find the second term. In the second term we have the unit number 3 and the unit number 4. In the unit number 3 you already did the exercises, you completed the activity number 3 about people who were doing something on the street. And in here in the unit number 4 you will find the activity number 4, because so far we have done 4 activities. The first 2 activities in the term number 1, and now the 2 activities in the term number 2. So this is the 4th activity. So you click here and you will find the description. Okay, I'm going to read the description. After having covered the content, grammatical structure, reading activities and vocabulary, you are ready to work on the second activity of the term. For this task, you have to take yourself some photos doing chores at home. Once you have got them, make a Prezi presentation and write the link or upload the file in the area proposed for the activity. Okay, this is one option, Prezi presentation, but you can use PowerPoint. Okay, use the present simple to talk about your routine and the routine of some members of your family. Okay, this activity is until Saturday, April the 28th. So you have 1 week in order to send this activity until 11:55. Okay, let's come back to the presentation in here. Okay. This is a kind of example that you can do for the activity number 2. As I told you, it's a routine, so you have to take some photos about you, real photos about you, and you can describe your daily routine. For example, this is a photo about me, and I say, for example, in the first slide, I wake up at 4:40 a.m. Yes, that's my first activity during the morning, in the morning. After that, I get up at 4:45 because I am 5 minutes on the bed. Then I take a shower at 5 o'clock. After that, I get dressed. Next, at 5:20 a.m. I have breakfast and go on. So you continue explain you your activity, your daily routine during the day. That you wake up, that you get dressed, that you take a shower first, that you get dressed, that you have breakfast, that you go to work or you go to the university, etc. So it's your daily routine during the day. And also you have to describe the daily routine of a family member. For example, I am in this part I am talking about me, but I can talk about my wife or my mother or my daughter or my son. Okay, so for example, I'm going to talk about when I finish my routine, I start describing the routine of my wife, for example, and I can take some photos of her, and I say, for example, my wife goes to work at 7 o'clock. Look at this part when I say goes, because I don't say my wife go to work at 7 o'clock, because she is in third person singular. So I have to say my wife goes, not my wife go. Because when I talk about me, first person, I say I go to work. But for my wife, I can say my wife goes to work. There are some rules that I suppose that you have done that you have seen in the exercises that you have done in the virtual exercises. These are some simple rules. For example, if I say I get up at 4:40 a.m., yes, this is for me. But for my wife, that is third person singular, I say my wife gets up at 5 a.m. That's different. Yes, do you notice the difference? First, I get up. My wife gets up. So there is a difference in first person and in third person singular. Another example, I go to work at 6:30 a.m. and my wife goes to work at 7 o'clock. So these are the rule of the S. This is the rule of the S. Is something that you have to take into account in order to do the activity number 2. So it's important that you know that, for example, if you talk about, for example, if I talk about me, if I talk about you, or if I talk about we, I mean you and me, or if I talk about other people in general, that I say they, so I can say I have lunch at 1 p.m., you have lunch at 1 p.m., we have lunch at 1 p.m., or they have lunch at 1 p.m. Yes? Or I can replace, for example, my parents is they, my parents have lunch at 1 p.m. But there is an exception, because if you talk about a third person singular, for example, she, he, or it, I can say, for example, Maria, Luis, my dog. Yes? So I have to say, in present simple, I have to say she has lunch at noon. So it's not she have, no, it's she has lunch at noon. Noon is 12 o'clock. Is because it's another word that we can use for the time 12 o'clock. So that's the difference between first person singular and plural and third person singular. So that's something different. Yes. For example, if I say I watch TV, my son watches TV. So it is a difference because I am using the rule of the S. Okay, this is the activity number 2. So you have to create a presentation in PowerPoint or Prezi, and you can take some photos about you. The idea is that those photos are real, and you can describe every single photo, every single picture, and you have to describe the routine, your routine and the routine of a different person, in order to put in practice the rule of the S. Yes, I saw in the activity number 1 of the second term, when I explained you about the present progressive, and some of you wrote routine, and some of you used this rule. But in the previous activity, the activity was different, because it's about present progressive. It was about present progressive, and this is about present simple. So in this activity, you have to put in practice the rule of the S, but you didn't have to put in practice the rule of the S in the previous activity, because the previous activity was different. Okay, so let's talk about now the aulas virtuales, about the virtual exercises that you have to take into account for the second term. As I told you, in the second term, you have the unit number 3. Yes, this is the unit number 3 about routine, and the unit number 4. The unit number 4 is here. So in the unit number 3, remember that you have to complete these exercises: vocabulary, grammar, listening, reading. Vocabulary, grammar, listening, and reading. Vocabulary, grammar, listening, and reading. So they are 3 parts, but every single part is divided in 4 activities, and that's that's one part of the activities, because in the unit number 4 you have to complete these exercises as well. Again, vocabulary, grammar, listening, and reading, and go on. So these are the activities that you have to do for this second term. Okay, So not only the unit number 3, you have to complete the exercises of the unit number 4. Remember, in the term number 1, you did the exercises of the unit number 1 and 2. For this second term, you have to do the exercises of the unit number 3 and unit number 4, okay? Okay, I think you have got the explanation. I'm going to continue on the presentation. I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to talk about the test number 2. This is very, very important for you because the opening date is on May the 5th, 2018. This is Saturday. Yes, it's Saturday, and the exercises start at 12:05 a.m. Okay, and then the deadline is on May the 6th. So it means that you have 2 days in order to finish this activity. This activity is closed on May the 6th. In other words, you start on Saturday at 5. Yes, I'm sorry, on Saturday at 12:05 in the morning. Yes, and you have all Saturday and all morning in order to do the test, because the test is very important. Okay, you cannot miss this activity. Okay, so you have, in this case, you have 2 days in order to take the test, because the previous test you only had 1 day, and maybe some of you were in class or some of you were working, so you didn't have enough time. So that's why I'm going to show you to leave 2 days in order to finish the test number 2. Okay, so remember, May the 5th at 12:05 a.m. Yes, and the test is closed on May the 6th at 11:55 p.m. So almost 48 hours. Okay, and what is the test? The test is in this part. Okay, let me check something. The test, you can see the test in this part. In the second term, at the end of the second term, let me show you. At the end, you go down, and at the end of the second term, you can find the vocabulary test 2, grammar test 2, listening test 2, and reading test 2. Okay, so these are the exercises that you have to do in order to take the test number 2. That is very, very important. Remember that this is one of the most important activities to finish the term. Okay, so take into account this recommendation, because maybe some of you miss this date and you don't do the exercises, and that's why you have bad grades. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. So I'm going to show you again the dates. Remember, the opening date, May the 5th at 12:05 a.m. The deadline is May the 6th. The following day is closed, the test, so you cannot do the test, you cannot take the test after 11:55 p.m. And that's it for today. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me. You can write a message, you can write an email to my institutional email, and I'm going to answer your questions as soon as possible. Okay, so thank you so much. I'll see you in the 5th session, maybe in 2 weeks, or maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, bye bye, have a good day.